Hello everyone, this is Josh Vision, and I'm here to give you my Knightfall Season 1, Episode 3 review. This episode was entitled The Black Wolf and the White Wolf. So we begin this episode with the Queen being pregnant with child. So obviously this is going to cause a really huge problem, considering the fact that, one, she was unfaithful to the king, and the fact that it's Landry's child, as we know from their affair of the past 2 episodes, and all that good stuff. So basically, she tells her lady in waiting to go to the apothecary and basically give her some type of potion, some type of juice that will kill the baby and all that stuff. So that way, she doesn't get killed, or Landry, and all the clusterfuck that will happen if news will come out that not only is she pregnant, but it's Landry's kid, as I mentioned before. So while this is happening, we have William Deney and his assistant talking in the streets, and William Deney asks his assistant, "Do you believe in God and the Holy Grail?" Actually probably was the Holy Grail. My bad. He was talking about, "Do you believe in God?" And he was like, "Yes." And he said, "You believe the stories and all that crap?" He was like, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, those are simple stories, relics and all that. It's easy to basically manipulate people that way." And he asked him, "For what way?" He said, "For power." And then after that, we have this brief little conversation in which the king basically tells the ambassador of England that even though he had made a deal with the King of England, Longshakes, a.k.a. King Edward, that basically he would have his princess, his daughter, the princess, marry his son, that since, his daughter loves, the Prince of Catalonia, that he's going to have to back out of that deal and basically have her marry the Prince of Catalonia. So the ambassador was pissed off about that, saying, "You know how Longshakes do, and I guess we're going to go to war. So since that's the case, I best hope you're ready." So after that, we have William Deney speaking with the ambassador of Catalonia, and the ambassador was like, "Listen, we'll support you, but we're not going to give you troops. We're not going to die for this conflict." Even though William Deney is like, "Well, listen, bro, you're the reason why this happened, because our princess chose you, and the king gave his blessing. So I think you should kind of help your future family." You know what I'm saying? And I believe the ambassador's assistant basically asked him how many troops he needed. And William Deney was kind of pissed off about that. He was like, "First off, I have an assistant, and my assistant shuts his mouth, gives me my wine, and wipes my butt when I ask for it, when I have to take a crap." So after that, we had Landry and the rest of the Templars, I believe, put the key they found in Godfrey, they put in some type of thing in which it gave a location of the Grail being in France, and I believe it was like around the castle of the Decaux family. So Landry and Tancred, they go to Decaux family, and basically while on their way, Tancred explains to Landry that the Knights Templar basically owes this specific family a lot of money due to a loan, and that Godfrey was aware of it, obviously, because he was the Grand Master, and that the family's doing God's work, and that at some point, Godfrey said that at some point in the future, they would pay them back tenfold. So they go to the family, they find out that the father is actually dead, and that the son, the older son, Raymond, is alive. They meet him. So Raymond asks them, "So why do you guys want this Holy Grail so much? You don't understand its power." You know what I mean? And they're like, "Yeah, we do understand its power. It's a symbol of Christianity and all that." So he's like, "No. This is God's power. And how can you understand or protect something of this magnitude if you don't really get the ins and outs? It's more than symbolism." So he explains to them when they go deep into the other side of the house that he was actually Godfrey's older brother, and that Godfrey resented him for the fact that since he was the eldest brother and that his father left him his land, his titles, that he didn't get any. So basically Godfrey stabbed his brother all the way through with a knife, but it was a miracle because the older brother survived, but he lost use of his legs. So he lost use of his legs, basically, and he forgave his little brother, Godfrey. So Godfrey found the Grail at some point, and he gave the wine, that was in the Grail, to his brother, and his brother was able to walk. So Landry and Tancred are saying this is BS. And it's funny, considering they're Templars and they're all holy, they would be so skeptical of it, because you would think they would believe crap like that. Well, not crap, but you get what I'm saying. And he reveals that he was actually, Godfrey's older brother, and they're all kind of shook about it. So before he could give them the details of where the actual Grail actually is, a Saracen stabs him, ironically, in the same place, you know, where he almost died several decades ago. And basically, Tancred gives chase, and there's a big battle that happens, and Tancred kills him, well, not kills him. He wounds him severely, but the Saracen sort of puts like the map or something, or the paper that Godfrey had just in case for Landry when he was going to show up, in the fire. So it was ruined completely. So after that, they bring the Saracen back, to the Knights Templars, headquarters, so to speak. And he tells everyone basically to make sure they treat this guy well so they can get the information for the Grail. And Gawain is pissed about this. He's like, yo, all the initiates and the other brothers are talking about this, and that you should just kill the Saracen, this heretic. And Landry's like, is that them or is that you? And should you be like training the initiates? Mind your business, basically. Speaking of Gawain and Parsifal, I believe during the training was kind of late. He was still, mourning his deceased wife, and basically, Gawain was like, listen, you got to man up, dude. Your wife wouldn't want you to be complaining like a woman. Be a man, deal with it, and we are a brotherhood. You'll find your strength in yourself, but also through your brothers, because when the brothers are lost, we lose everything. It's all about teamwork here, and connection. So after that, we see the Queen basically in one of the churches, and she explains how dark the king can get. About how one time when they were younger, a few years back, that he actually got a flute player for them, and that she loved listening to him. So she would listen to him all the time and wouldn't spend any time with him. So one day he got his men to actually break the dude's fingers and rough him up a bit, and that guy had never been able to play the flute correctly. It's kind of funny, even though it's kind of a dickish move. So after that, the king kind of speaks with her, but she's not really there, and he can tell. So after that, the king is having sword play, with Landry, sword training, and he explains to Landry how he's really down because his wife hasn't shared his chamber with him in quite a while, and that he knows something's wrong, but he doesn't know how to get through to her, and that Landry, doesn't know how passionate a woman she is and how hard it is to go so long without that passion, you know what I'm saying? And also the fact that he loves her. And Landry also feels some type of way because of the affair he's been having with her for the past, probably 10, 15, 16 years, whatever. And he's really trying to tell the king, hey, listen, I'm not the guy that you should get to to speak with her, And he's like, listen, she's your friend, I'm your friend, we love you, you know what I mean? So you're the best guy for the job, so he kind of agrees to it, So after that, I believe Parsifal gets robbed by some chick. I forgot her name, but he gets robbed while he's basically doing, the initiate's duty of basically giving like one loaf of bread to the beggars, like his other fellow initiates are doing. And the girl goes into some type of hiding space, in a house, and he kind of just gives up after that. So after that, I believe Landry tells the Pope about him basically breaking his vows by sleeping with a woman. And it's a double dose of sin because it's not only just another woman, but she's married, and the fact that she is basically his friend's wife. So the Pope said, listen, you think you're the first Templar to ever break his vows? Nah. But listen, I would advise for you to stop doing this BS and end it immediately, and that all your sins are absolved. So Landry is not happy, but he can deal with it. And then after that, there's this big kind of thing that's happening in which the actual Prince of Catalonia reveals himself, and it turns out the assistant that was giving William de Negre basically some lip was actually the prince all this time. And he said something really biting to William, saying, you know what, I can tell you love the princess. She's not just your king's daughter, you really love her, and I could sense your affection and obsession about her during your little letters when she's write to him, you know what I mean? Well, to the prince, Uncle William. So he says, basically reveals himself, and he tells the king that he will give, his army to the king if there's war needed. And William de Negri's pissed off. So after that, William de Negri basically speaks with the ambassador of England, and they're trying to figure out what the freak to do. And he's like, listen, I know what to do. And ironically, they're shooting arrows at this point. And he tells the ambassador, listen, look past your target, bide your time, and boom, you get what you want. You know what I mean? And the ambassador's impressed, and he's like, you're such a good tactician, William. And he's like, but I hope you don't do anything hasty. You know what I mean? I know what you're thinking. William's like, listen, I'll try to find a better way of not trying to kill the kid. And he's like, hurry up. You know what I mean? Time's of the essence. So after that, this big celebration, and Landry, basically the celebration is due to Landry becoming the Grand Master. So during this celebration, Parsifal meets the girl again, and I believe she gives him something back, but she also takes some, like the necklace that his deceased wife made for him. So while this is happening, I believe there's also a dance, and basically Landry cuts it off with the queen. You know what I mean? And it's ironic, after he cuts off with the queen, she leaves the king when he tries to once again make peace with her and all that stuff, and try to get him and and her to the bed. That the princess the princess and the prince of Catalonia actually get it on, and William de Negre watches it. And after that, before the episode ends, we have the Saracen being questioned by Gawain, Tancred, and the Arabic help. And he says basically, y'all are stupid. Y'all should stop trying to find the Holy Grail. It will basically burn you and everyone else. Paris, the Templars, everyone. And this was after, I believe, Gawain tried to stab him, with the knife in his left eye if he didn't cough up information. So after that, the guy dies probably a few scenes later. And everyone's trying to figure out who the freak killed the Saracen. So that's what I got, you guys. I'm kind of sweaty right now. It's hot as crap, but still, it's whatever. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any comments you want to say, write them down below in the comments. Adios. I need a towel.